Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about Guadalupe National Park, which was about 4 hours directly north of Big Bend, right on the border of Texas and New Mexico. So we drove through emptiness, pretty much got there, went to the visitor center where they had this little taxidermy museum. They told us we should grab a campsite and do a hike called the Devil's Hall, which was about 5 miles. So we went to the campsite. It was first come, first serve, and we got pretty lucky. We got this open space. We set up tent. There were some people a little bit around, but they were cool. And so we set up and head out on this hike, and this was the start of it, to Devil's Hall. Right away, I already had some crazy blisters from the hike before in Big Bend, but I pushed on, and it started off kind of flat, and then as you could see, it got more rocky. And I was walking just right over rocks, and that only picked up because it got a lot more rocky than this, and it was pretty amazing. I mean, there's all these white rocks all around, and then just stone walls that looked like they had stairs coming out of them, and you were just instantly transported into the center of them. We walked and walked, and then sort of came across this little well-looking area, but this is the entrance to Devil's Hall. We hung out here for a while. Billy was ahead of us the majority of the time, and Veronica was ahead of me too because I was going crazy slow because of my blisters, but I caught up, and we hung out here, and we started to enter the hallway area. There were just these walls that went straight up right next to us on both sides, and they looked like they were made of this ancient brick, but it's all naturally formed somehow. We pushed on. Some cool patterns in the trees, some cactus, and we finally made it to the Devil's Hall, which sort of had this satanic looking sign that said Devil's Hall on it, but this was it. A short little stretch, and it's the Devil's Hallway. This is clearly where he goes to school and does classes, and then comes outside and hangs out in this hallway with his friends. And we walked through it, and it was pretty cool. Just like a little alleyway made by nature. And it was rocks all around. They say in the fall that all the trees turn yellow and orange and red, which you can imagine. It's probably pretty cool that time of year. We walked through the Devil's Hall. Found that little mysterious looking cave thing up there. It seems like the perfect place to hide a treasure, but Billy and I climbed up it. We took some pictures, and we walked back. After that, this is El Capitan, and there's one of those in Yosemite in California, but they had one here, which is that's the peak of these mountains, I guess. And we drove. This is a National Historic Marker. These were salt flats that, if you can believe it, there were like massacres over these salt flats and control of the salt. Pretty much every national marker that we came upon was the story of Indians getting slaughtered. So we went to this old little town, and we came here to get food, where we got gas station burritos. And it was 40 miles away. We drove out 40 miles because there was no food at Guadalupe. So just know that there's no food. But 40 miles each way, so crazy. But it was really nice, and we saw a beautiful sunset and a huge moon, which would only get cooler. And we saw El Capitan again. And part of the park were closed off due to these fires that we kind of drove up on. And I caught right there. So we all went to sleep. I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I knew that this was going to happen, but there is an eclipse going on. So I stayed up and watched it, and you can kind of see the eclipse peek through, like going further and further. And I whipped out my telescope, and I got some really cool footage of the eclipse furthering, and it was some sort of like blood moon eclipse, something like that, and it turned red. You could see it, and somehow I captured it in the camera. But these shots alone really make the telescope that I bought worth it, in my opinion. These are some of the best that I captured, and I like them a lot. You can see it setting behind the mountain really quickly. That was a span of like 30 seconds, so it was gone, and then the sun came up, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful day, beautiful night, and after that we were on our way to New Mexico. We had a great time at Guadalupe. I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're passing through.